Hello, beautiful muses, and welcome back to Cosmo Muse Tarot. Today we have a message from Spirit about the season of Yule, which starts at winter solstice, and in the Celtic wheel of seasons goes until Imbolc, which is February 1st, and kind of pre-spring energy, at least in my association of it. Some people say it's the beginning of spring. Because of where I live, I feel like it's sort of the signs of spring coming on and sort of pre-spring. And I think that depending on where you live, you can associate that how you please. But we're going to get back to the point. A message for this time of Yule. So you may, because I'm doing this early in January, you may take this message and be able to reflect back through the holiday time of whatever you celebrate, Christmas or otherwise, and then project forward several weeks as well, and just see how this message resonates for you of what Spirit wants you to know about kind of what's developing or what's important for you to know about these coming winter or Yule weeks ahead. And I think you could also take this into Imbolc time of when Imbolc hits, maybe you start to see some more visible signs of this coming on, but still some time to develop it until Spring Equinox. So we are going to pick from this deck called Season of the Witch, specifically a Yule Oracle, so kind of a Winter Witch association. We'll pick 4 different cards for 4 different piles. Let's take the bottom one, so the Unknown, Yule Log, this is poking out, Father Christmas, and we'll get one more, Darkest Hour. Wow, beautiful cards. I really love these. Okay, so we have pile 1, and I'm going to put stones above these as I go through each one. The Unknown with a clear crystal quartz. We've got pile 2 with the Yule Log and some why did this just escape my mind? Carnelian. So that's pile 2. Pile 3 is Father Christmas and this white mountain mineral stone. And then pile 4, we have Sunstone and Darkest Hour. Okay, for those of you that like the breath work that I do to help you kind of get in touch with your higher self as well as some intuition, we'll do that now. So put your feet firmly on the ground, feel that support below you, and then take in a deep breath and suck that up, up, up into the space between your brows. Suck in a little bit more oxygen to add pressure. And then with a loud exhale, let it out, which opens your crown chakra, as well as that pressure that's put on the third eye kind of activates that higher wisdom within you as well. So if you need more time to do more breaths or your own process, you can pause here to fill into which pile, whether you use the card images, the title, the stones, just feeling into what is drawing you in. And then once you have chosen your pile, feel free to go down into the descriptions, and there are timestamps so you can jump straight to your reading. All right, I'll see you guys in your readings. Hello, pile one. If this is you guys, you picked the unknown and the clear crystal quartz point, which I'm just going to put over here. Such a beautiful card. And so this is sort of like what I'm considering the cornerstone card for your reading of what to be mindful of during this Yule season, and what's maybe developing in you. And I thought I would read from the book for these cards because the messages are just really simple and beautiful. And yeah, so then we'll pick a couple of oracle cards and some tarot to kind of build off of that foundation. So keywords for this is potential, creativity, risk. And on the card, it says, think on it and you will stumble, for the heart is a ghost upon the unknown. Let it bleed into the depths, bearing nothing but desire. And so what that is intended to mean is this longer description here. It says, the unknown is wide open to you now, and pulling this card is a sign that your creative power and ability to manifest your dreams is growing. Take advantage of this unusual period of support and abundance. Visualize all your deepest desires and greatest wishes. Be the master of your canvas and paint the image of your dreams. Will you dare to entertain your biggest goals? The unknown requires you to be willing to take a risk. What you want cannot be achieved from a place of comfort or in doing what you already know. With significant risk comes great rewards, and the unknown says now is the time to take a leap of faith. Do not be afraid to fall. Even failure has values and lessons that will help you grow. Be bold and be willing to go against conformity for the sake of freedom and design alignment with your soul's purpose. So I love this. Going back to those key words, it was potential, creativity, risk. So beautiful. So it's like, this is almost like a portal for you in the coming weeks to, and reflect back on the past couple of weeks too, because we started Yule December 21st, of, what kind of creative energy has been flowing in you to kind of incubate and visualize and dream a new dream alive, and how are you kind of taking some steps to support those dreams and visions. It could be a great time to make sort of vision boards and write out little mission statements and take a few steps. And I think it literally said in the book, time to kind of actually take a bit of a leap and a risk, to go, what is your biggest dream, literally, and something is potent right now for you in going for that. Okay, we are also going to pick a Celtic Spirit Oracle card to continue on with this kind of Celtic wisdom. And you've got, oh, look at that, dream, manifestation, plan B. And I was just thinking about that. I don't know why I hesitated. I think because I wanted to stay in that dream energy, but making plans, writing out some step-by-step plans, or a 5-year plan or a 1-year plan, whatever resonates to you around a plan, or just like a plan to get to being able to touch this dream. However detailed and foresightful you are in terms of your own planning process, put some energy into that. Knowing what is your end goal here? What is it you want from this dream? Why do you want this dream? And imagine yourself in it. Do some visualization and dream practices, lucid dreaming, where you can put yourself inside of this unknown and feel yourself respond to, if that were already manifested in your life, what would that be like? How do you interact with it? What is it doing for you? Where does it have the potential to take you and why do you want to be taken there? Okay, and then we're going to do a Priestess of Light to see what kind of spiritual energy might be around you to assist. Telepathy, transmission, perception, communication. So I feel like you're very sensitive right now as well with all of the kind of chatter in the world and people's minds around you, which can be really beautiful and helping your perceptions of life around you. But I feel like what's coming through here, because this is such personal energy that's been talked about, that you need to be careful with your telepathy and not let it influence or interact too much with what you want. So maybe cutting out some of the chatter. And I think you have a Priestess of Light, so some spiritual energy around you that can help you to get a hold of your ability with telepathy and turn it on and off as needed to protect what you're trying to dream to life, dream into manifestation here. Okay, let's turn to some tarot and get a little bit of context around all of this. Oh, 2 jumped right out. 13, the journey. 8 of arrows, struggle. Knight of stones, the horse. Page of bows with stoat. It looks sort of like a, I don't know if stoat is similar to like a weasel or a ferret or something. 11, the woodward. And then one more. Yeah. King of arrows with kingfisher. Beautiful. Okay, let's take a look at these. It's interesting that you have knight, page, and king showing up all in different suits. A lot of, yeah, and that telepathy, it's like a lot of very diverse energies that you're really sensitive to and reading quite well right now, almost like too well, where I said like you might have to do some work of creating boundaries of hearing people's minds. But I think that there's also wisdom that each of these characters may hold, that tapping into their minds may give you some certain perceptions that are helpful. And it's just that you need to be mindful of when you purposely turn on and off to that. So think about people around you that have authority, intellectual authority, people around you who have sort of a playful, more easy kind of way of holding themselves and moving through life that's very kind of creative and bohemian, but sometimes just like a little, I don't want to say childish, but youthful in a way, kind of young and free-spirited. There should be people around you like that. And then there's also people around you who have really, in a material way, really kind of charged forth and conquered and taken those risks that you're being asked to take, that know a little bit about taking a journey and taking risks. So intellectual authority, kind of creative bohemian, and really risk-taking material realm type people. Think about those types of characters. There's something about opening up to some telepathy and even speaking out loud with them that can really help to shape some of your perceptions, and that you can absorb some expertise from these figures into your life a little bit, and into how you're starting to mold your dream into something more real and manifested, or that plans you're putting around it to give it shape. It's very lively energy around you that can be both incredibly helpful or distracting. So, be very conscious about being on and off with that chatter that's obviously around you, but also in people's minds. And then looking more at this journey and 8 of Arrows or 8 of Swords. You really are going to have to step out of your comfort zone in this. I think whatever comes to you about like what is your actual biggest dream, that's not based in fantasy. I want to be not encourage you to be an astronaut if you're 40 years old and have a high school degree. But dream big. What is your biggest dream that could in your wildest dreams be attainable? There's something about that you're going to have to get really uncomfortable with, and allow yourself to go through some transformation, to really push into some uncomfortable boundary, pushing yourself into areas that are out of your comfort zone, that then illuminate things deeper within you that you didn't know were there, that then have to kind of be confronted and witnessed, and some of it purged and some of it developed and cultivated. A whole spectrum of really learning how to deal with what's seen once you kind of push yourself past thinking too small or feeling like you're too trapped or stuck to reach for what you want to reach for. You can, but it will require a pretty deep transformation. So, that's up to you if you really want that big, potentially attainable huge dream, or if you want to stay kind of cozy in what you know already. So there's some decisions to be made here, because you can go for this, but it will change things in you and your life. So go into your dream time and feel into that. How does it feel? Is this something you really, really want? Are you eager for change? And I do feel this energy of really wanting change when I look at these cards, and eagerness there. And I think overall you are going to find, through kind of planning and visualization and giving some shape and goals and aims around this, the more you do that, the more you're going to see with a lot of wisdom how to make certain tough decisions that are going to rebalance your life. But I think you're going to feel very empowered and like you have the right foresight, you have the right determination and wisdom within you to be able to hold your, stand your ground, speak and act with conviction around what you're trying to do, and really persevere. It really is within you. whatever you connect to as this potentially attainable, beautiful, grand dream, you solidly have this within you, but it means stepping out of being small or stuck in something. And I do think you have the potential to soar, but yeah, I mean, there's effort you have to put in. You have to do some visualization. You have to do some planning. You have to give shape to this and take steps and take risks. You have to be the one to put your foot, foot after foot after foot after foot forward and move and motivate here. But it's very much so what I'm seeing, like, possible, and there's a lot of people around you that can really help you on this journey, and it can really transform your life. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave you. Really cool message for you guys, pretty profound, and I definitely wish you luck in this time of the unknown, where you can dream big and leap towards a new potential. Okay, if this resonated, I always appreciate thumbs up, little comments, and of course subscriptions, and I hope to see you guys in more readings in the future. Hello, pile 2. If this is you guys, you picked the Yule Log card as well as the carnelian stone. And I'm just going to place that over here for the reading. And so this card is really the cornerstone of your reading, really giving us the cue of what it is that Spirit's wanting to talk about, that's either an energy around you to be aware of as we go through the Yule season, through to February 1st, and then as we enter Imbolc, how to, something that you'll still be developing through to Spring Equinox. So for this card, because it's such the important cornerstone card, I am going to read from the book for this. So it is card 44. Its keywords are letting go, creation, God, and the goddess. And the words underneath it on the card say, insert me with a bleeding thought, a sacred creation birthed from thy. I am God, I am goddess, I am creation and the creator. So what is meant by that in the longer description? Yule logs are burned for 12 days and represent the rising sun and the birth of a new sun god. Yule logs are decorated with all kinds of Christmas cheer, and when it is lit, each member of your household gets to take a turn tossing in anything you'd like to release from the year. Each person gets to set an intention for what they hope to call into their lives. Yule logs represent the beautiful cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. When we clear out the old, we make space for all of the beauty left to come. Creation is a harmonic blend of both destruction and building. Some things must be cleared and destroyed so that we have room to welcome in something new. Channel the energy of the goddess by healing and letting go of anything holding you back. Then channel the power of the god by invoking action, courage, and determination. Both energies, male and female, are required to be successful in your dreams, goals, and manifestations. Yule Log reminds you that what you wish for will take more than one approach. Such a beautiful message. I love this. So it really is like tapping into this winter season, the essence of destruction in order to make room for creation, letting go of those things that are no longer serving you, contributing to your growth in an aligned way, things that might be holding you back. And this can be literal things in your life, jobs, homes, goals, but it can also be mentality or emotionality. It can be a little bit more abstract too. So if you have not done this ritual entering into winter already, of burning, you know, writing out something that you're ready to let go of and burning it, and then writing somewhere where you can keep safe a new intention that feels like it is rising within you. After you do this reading, go ahead and do that. I think it will really help to ignite what this reading ends up bringing forth beyond this. Okay, we are also going to pick a Celtic Spirit Oracle card to kind of continue on with the Celtic theme of this reading. And you guys have Master of the Hunt, Speed, Masculinity, and Flow, which makes me think that it is very important that you clear some space and let go of some things, because something is ready to create. There's something ready. There's something that is waiting for you to be ready and to clear that space in order to move forward. There's a spark already, you know, kind of channeling within you to kind of get your move on and to create in life, create something beautiful. Okay. And I like the word hunt here. It's like you have, like, there's a strong target coming through, a strong thing that you specifically want. And if that doesn't already resonate for you, it might take that burning the thing you need to let go of to help that feel clearer in you. But you may already feel that kind of agitation within you of like something wanting to come out of me. So make space. Go into that feminine yin goddess energy of destruction. What can you let go of and recycle to feed your roots and, you know, nourish you and restore some energy to help you to kind of ignite and take action on something. Okay, we are going to look at a Priestess of Light oracle as well to see what kind of sort of spiritual guidance might be around you around this. You can't make this up. Sacred action, decisive focus. It really is. I mean, I don't know how much more clear this can be that a cycle of creation is very much so eager and ready to come out of you. So really important to let go of some things so you make proper space for this. I mean, not much more I have to say about that. Make space so that you know what that agitation and energy building within you is about, so you know how to create a focus, a target, and move towards something and not just move because you need to move type of thing. Yeah, exciting. Good for you guys. Okay, we're going to pick some tarot cards just to get a little bit of context here. Okay, we've got 2 of Stones with Challenge. 6 of Vessels with Reunion. 8 of Vessels, the Waters of Life. Beautiful. 10 of Stones with Home. 7 of Bows with Clearance. 'Last one, we've got Page of Stones with Links. Beautiful. Okay, let's look at these. I'm definitely seeing kind of like 2 parts here, like the first 3 cards and the second 3 cards kind of grouped. And this to me feels like the goddess of what you need to let go, where that destruction needs to happen in order to restore and find focus and connect your energy of creation to something specific. So I'm getting a clue with the two of Stones here that there's something there's like two really important things in your life that are competing for attention right now. And you may need to let one of them go because it's like you're stuck, you're deadlocked in something with the tension that's created. It's like these two things that you're doing and balancing and juggling don't really have a lot of synergy or support one another. And so it's like you kind of need to feel into which one or things around at least one of these things, or some things around all of it that you can let go of, either in order to focus on one thing or to allow there to be more synergy and cohesion between the things you're juggling. But whatever's happening, what you're juggling in your life right now, something's got to change about that, and you need to let something about that go in order to create space, create a more fixed target and forward trajectory in your life. And it may require you to detach from things you hold a lot of nostalgia about, that you don't necessarily see as negative, but maybe they're holding you to your past. And it's okay to still have beautiful memories and hold certain things from our past dear, but we also have to recognize when they're holding us back from evolving and growing in our life. And I think there's something about this. There's something about something from your past you're really holding on to that's beautiful and lovely and holds a lot of great nostalgia and power and whatnot, but it's just not aligned with your forward movement. And that's the thing that's kind of keeping you stuck in some kind of tension and inability to see how to find a new target that really moves you forward. And yeah, so it's not like you have to make some dramatic break with something or let some dramatic thing go that you've just had it with. It's actually something that's really beautiful, but sense into what is preventing you from moving forward, and you can still keep those beautiful memories and have a positive association with, but it's just time to move on. And as you identify what that is and really step into a willingness and an understanding that you need to move forward, suddenly that restored energy, especially emotionally, is going to flood in, and you're going to feel so much more connected to yourself and understand where your life needs to flow. But there's definitely like a heart and an emotional connection here. I feel like you guys might be very emotional people. Get very attached to things, and it's hard to let go, but it's time. And as you do that, then that emotion has room to flow, and you get to see where it wants the currents of your heart want to move. And you'll feel so much more alive and so much more singular in a certain focus. And definitely, like, where I see this movement going is something about building stronger foundations, your home life, your legacy. It could be around wanting to move home, make your home more stable and fertile and beautiful for you. It could be around growing family. Something about creating your own home and your own legacy. And I love there's like male and female on this card too. There's a huge call out to that, really getting in touch with both the yin and the yang within, and maybe even outside of your life. This could be marriage, this could be having a baby, this could be new home. There's some sort of movement that you're ready to put energy and drive and focus to in terms of your home life, whatever that means to you. And then we've got 7 of Bows and Page of Stones with the links, so clearance and links. And this clearance is harkening back to that needing to let go of certain things, needing to clear space so that you can move toward these new foundations that I think are going to kind of become a focus. And knowing that you have the heart and the strength and, there's something about doing this that may hold some competition. But as long as you're able to let go of attachments holding you back, you will have the strength and the drive to win out on any perceived conflict, competition, challenge here, and really take control of this, really step up to be the leader of this change of driving your life forward here. And like new values that are really mystically sourced and have a lot of prowess and focus and agility within it. Like new things stirring in you of like how to really manifest this, how to take these things that seem mystical and dreamy and unobtainable about this and anchor them in with a certain, you're starting to recognize newly within you a certain prowess you have to really take things out of kind of an abstract, esoteric place and actually manifest something really profound and interesting and beautiful. So like, not only am I sensing that you might be kind of an emotional person, but I think you also have like a very, very mysterious side that you haven't quite learned how to take from energy into material, and you're going to start to learn how to do that this winter. You're going to start to, as you clear some space and get this focus, you're really going to see some evidence and some new sparks and ability in anchoring in these really mysterious things that I think are going to surprise you and everybody around you of like, whoa, where did this come from? It's like this agile, prowling, mysterious quality within you suddenly just knows how to manifest that energy more materially, and it's like kind of awe-inspiring and magnetic and intriguing and interesting. And that's where I'm gonna leave you guys. Really cool reading, and I loved your energy. Definitely unique people in this pile, but I feel like I would enjoy. So good luck on diving into all of this and stepping into focus and creativity and really moving your life forward in cool ways. Okay, if this resonated, I always appreciate thumbs up. That's a very simple way to support me. Also love reading little comments, and of course subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Okay, I will hopefully see you guys in more readings in the future. Hello, pile 3, and welcome to your reading. If this is you guys, you picked this sort of off-white mineral stone from the mountains. We're just going to put this over here for the reading. And you guys picked for your reading Father Christmas, number 13. And this is sort of the cornerstone card for this reading, showing you what Spirit either wants you to be aware of as you go through these several weeks of winter time, as well as maybe like what is going on with your development during this time. And so I thought I would read straight from the book for this, since it's really the main overarching card over everything. So the key words associated here are naughty and nice. And what it says on the card is, how did thy get here? Lost perhaps? No worries at all. Gather yourself and clear the frost, for the good still lives in you, dear. And what is meant by that, we can dive into with the longer description. It says, what list will you be on this year? Naughty or nice? Father Christmas, Santa Claus, Old Saint Nick, even Krampus, or critical figures in holiday celebrations? We know these archetypes as the jolly old man who judges whether we are worthy of gifts, if you are kind-hearted, or lumps of coal, if you are terrible. You may have grown up and stopped worrying about getting gifts for the holidays, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be mindful of how your energy manifests in the world. You are being guided to share a little kindness. Ask yourself, what would the best version of myself do in this situation? Keep this in mind as you go about your day and see how this simple question can dramatically shift your perspective. Kindness costs nothing and can reward you with endless blessings. And something I would kind of take away from this card and this meaning, sorry, I need a little water, is the winter quarter to me is like when we open up into the biggest, most complex energies, so a little bit more into the collective energies and the cosmic energies, where we do have to put aside kind of personal centering and personal wants and desires a little bit in order to sort of mingle with these bigger energies and step into understanding a lot more about compassion and forgiveness and being able to let things go in order to allow space and room for incubation. So I definitely am tapping into, with this card, this need to really not put yourself last, but just be much more observant and detached from who you are and what you need, and really observing the greater world, observing the collective energies, what's going on in the world, and how can you contribute or take that in a compassionate lens, and in a lens of adding some goodwill to that all, to the bigger picture. And there's something about that then we gain favor from the spiritual realm by doing that. So like the very end of the longer description on this was like, well, I'll actually, where did the booklet go? Open it up again and read that last line. So I do think that holds a beautiful key and even motivation. Kindness costs nothing but can reward you with endless blessings. So yeah, I do think that generating kindness and being much more observant and aware of the world around us and engaging it with kindness, it does garner blessing and favor from the spiritual realm. And it it just gives us different lenses too. It helps us to see differently, which is, can bring in all sorts of blessings just by having that kind of lens, not even by having favor from the angelic realm. It's something we can do on our own, but also coming from that place of compassion and kindness does garner favor from that realm. So yeah, just like a beautiful message of reminder to be more observant and plugged into the greater world, and come from a lens of kindness and compassion, and it's not for reward, but the cherry on top is that it does come with reward. And I think that there's some kind of beautiful reward waiting for you if you're able to step into this. And so I think this is Spirit encouraging you here, because there's something really poignant that you're supposed to learn by doing this, and that will bring in, yeah, just a more blessed lens in general. Okay, we're going to pick a card from the Celtic Spirit Oracle to expand on this and to continue with our Celtic theme here. So the Morrigan, power, courage, strength. Beautiful. This is a very, very fierce goddess, not one to be toyed with. And I'm actually, I have my own ideas about the Morrigan, but I'm curious what this book says about her. So even though I haven't done it in other readings, I do want to pull from the book a little here. Okay, it says, the goddess of death. As frightening as this sounds, the Morrigan may be one of our oldest Celtic goddesses and should really be seen as a keeper of death. She helps with the transformation. She is also seen as a healer and a triple goddess due to her many aspects of the maiden mother crone. I met her in a journey once, and she was a gentle, caring being. Her message to me was this, as she drew what looked to be a medicine wheel in the sand with the moon cycles around it. There is war within peace and peace within war. The two are interdependent like all cycles, just like the yin-yang. War is not to be feared. It is a natural part of life. The Morrigan comes into our lives when we really need some strength to make something happen. When enough is enough. The power you get from that kind of situation is exactly what you need to propel you forward into your power to get what you need. This is the time to stand your ground, dig your heels in, and be firm in what you desire. Go after what you want and don't let anything stand in your way. The Morrigan shows us how to look at our shadow self, the aspects that we keep in the dark or are afraid to look at. She shows us that in the shadows lie our strengths, not our weaknesses. The Morrigan also shows us that what we perceive to be a negative situation may be exactly what is needed to create peace or a desired outcome. Just like some forests need fire to regenerate, so too is death and destruction needed in our lives in some shape or form. Death doesn't need to be a physical death. It can be an ending of some sort, something that makes it final. If you face a situation you don't understand, say thank you for it. Why? Because it is in your life for a reason, a lesson, an ending. It is not until after the battle that we come to understand the gifts it brings. Very interesting. These feel... at face value, these two cards feel very contradictory, but I feel like Father Christmas is here as kind of a guidance of how to handle maybe some things that may feel overpowering, dark, some endings coming on that could have you going into kind of like... if we don't know how sometimes to work with shadow type energy, can put us into attitudes and emotions of like rage or vengefulness. And I think this Father Christmas is coming along to say that no, there's actually in the darkness you may encounter this winter quarter, there's actually maybe some beautiful gifts and strengths that are being pulled out of you, and there's a purpose for it. So stay plugged into compassion and approaching darker material, darker times, darker things within you or around you with goodwill, even if you can't understand the purpose for that. And there may be a real blessing that unfolds by holding that kind of mentality as you step into, letting go of certain things, allowing metaphorical deaths to happen, and witnessing shadow aspects of self and life and whatnot. Really, wow, really interesting and potent. Okay, let's see what kind of spiritual guidance is around you from the Priestesses of Light. Yeah, deep emotions, unknown feelings, past life influences. Yeah, I think, okay, so a little bit more of a clue here, like whatever is coming up, whatever you're witnessing, whatever kind of darkness you may encounter, it's taking you into deep emotions where it can, where we can end up corrupting aspects of ourselves through, deep, just rage, hate, vengeance, whatever it is. And it's like, somehow stay plugged into a compassionate heart here. Do your part of goodwill in the world. Don't play down to whatever comes up or happens around you or circumstances that are difficult. Just be accountable for you and help that give you the ability to channel really deep emotions that are swelling up into creation and giving and compassion, and however that plugs in for you. Very fascinating. Okay, we are going to do some tarot cards to see a little bit more context around this. Got Knight of Arrows. Nine of Stones. Oops, a few fell out. 10 of Bows. 3 of Bows. 9 of Vessels. Yeah, I already see something interesting. Okay, one more. And 8 of Stones. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is, yes, like the very first card out is like, stay detached, stay observant. As deep emotions come out, just observe them. Don't identify with them. There's there's a reason for them to be coming out beyond just whatever events surround and bring them out. There's something that you maybe actually be privileged to witness. This, like, it's not every day that our deepest emotions come to our surface. And even though that sometimes can be hard if they're difficult emotions, it gives us this opening to observe where and how we react versus respond to life. And you may get like by staying a bit above the fray, a little bit detached and observing, you may be able to witness how to approach life with a much more response-based capacity rather than a reaction-based capacity, and seeing how when you move from viewing life as happening to you, as viewing life as something that you can move through you and respond to, and find mature ways to interact with what's taking place and take control of situations and voice what you need, and take some time to process things before you just come from assumption-based areas, or even just like knowing what you want going forward. If you can't change what's gone on and it's not your fault, well, what do you want going forward, and responding rather than reacting and making the situation much worse. And I do think, you're coming to this, it's like an end of a journey where there's a lot of complexity and you've got a lot on your shoulders this winter. And I think you're kind of like hitting a wall. But what I can say is if you stay kind of detached, stay observant of what's taking place, and come from really be able to witness your capacity to respond versus react, and hold some compassion within you, and take control of your own path forward, it will really move you into this new capacity and understanding of how to work with your deepest realms. And it's going to bring in just like a new alignment and soul connection with whatever you have to let go of with the Morrigan, this metaphorical deaths, letting go of something, is really only making space for something new and much more aligned to come in, even if you didn't choose for something to end and it really upsets you. Despite that, what comes in next is so much better and so much more emotionally and heart-centered, fulfilling in a heart-centered way, and is opening up the opportunity for you to use, develop as well as use skills that are much more inherent within you, much more aligned to who you are, and really cultivating yourself much more compassionately, connectedly, intuitively, and it's the message I would say is like, don't worry about what is going, and don't worry about who or what or where or why it happened, even if it seems incredibly unfair. It's meant, and let other people have their own karma, and just respond to life in the way you want it to move forward for you. And really beautiful things will be ushered in. And I think that's what Spirit is wanting you to know, is like, you need to stay connected and responsible for your own emotions, because they can either lead you down a spiral of kind of treachery, or really expand you and bring in some beautiful silver linings that allow you to really let go and move past whatever is going on or will go on. So beautiful, really interesting, really beautiful, amazing guidance and tip coming in for things that may not have taken place yet. So hopefully this is helpful, and maybe you already have some clues, or something about this began around winter solstice, but whatever the case, it's something much more beautiful is coming if you can stay connected to kindness and compassion here. So this is where I'm going to leave you. If this resonates, I always appreciate thumbs up is like the easiest way you can support me. And then of course little comments are always fun to read, and definitely subscriptions. So I hope to see you guys in more readings, and happy winter. Hello pile 4, and welcome to your Yule reading or wintertime reading. You guys picked Darkest Hour as well as the Sunstone. I'm just going to place your stone over here. So this card that you picked is really the cornerstone of this reading, and is a message coming from Spirit and the witches about what you need to be aware of in this dark winter time where light is trying to rebirth, and maybe kind of like what is developing within you. And so I thought it would be good to just read straight from the book for this, to really fill in all of the possible context meant for this card. But I do love just looking at the image here, the symbolism of these stag or elk horns, and the phases of the moon here, to me kind of representing bringing back the light and plugging into the cycles of life. Okay, so keywords associated with this card are longest night, abyss, and void. On the card it says, there in the void of thy darkness swells the shadow of soul, swallowing the wickedness into the blackness of its wholeness. So what is meant by that is further expanded on in the greater description associated here, which I'll go to now. Light and darkness go hand in hand. Just as the day turns into night, the soul must also go through periods of highs and lows. A low is called the dark night of the soul, a period where you feel lost, confused, and removed from your spirit. Everyone will experience a dark night of the soul at some point, and you will likely experience many over your lifetime. It is common for the darkest night to appear during times of extreme stress and disruption. And while this process isn't pleasant, and you will undoubtedly lose something, things will be for the better when you emerge from this journey. The darkest hour has appeared because you are being asked to examine what is absolutely necessary for joy. Is it money? Is it love? Is it fame or respect? Imagine being free of it. The darkest hour reminds you that material things are not necessary for happiness, that happiness is something that is available to you with or without material oh my gosh, I can't speak. That happiness is something that is available to you with or without material success. You may feel as though you have to be where you are at this, but that isn't true. You are being guided to find true happiness within your spirit. Do not be afraid of change and do not be scared to let go. Doing so means you can see light even when life feels hopeless. Self-focused happiness provides a guiding light when you are lost in the darkest hour. It will point the way home and help you to recover. So really working with themes I always associate with this time of year of especially Capricorn season, but even beyond then, because this reading will go beyond that point, really through the winter quarter, but by Imbolc, February 1st, we should start to see how we're working with this and really being engaged more obviously with it. But back to this, that point of winter solstice, which has already passed, but this reading is meant for you to reflect back a few weeks as well as project forward a few weeks. So recalling back to winter solstice, it was the longest, darkest night of the year, which really connects with that darkest hour. And it's the point when we enter into Capricorn season, obviously Northern Hemisphere centered, and that Capricorn energy really connects to the devil and the gates of hell. There's a lot of different associations, but those two things come in. It's when the sun is furthest south, and so it's sort of the point where we have the longest trajectory to get to where the sun is the furthest north. So it's sort of the gate of hell, you exit and you move towards the gate of heaven, which will come at summer solstice. And so it's at this point that we have the greatest, and it's an earth sign, and it's the sign of finding our status and reputation in the world and materialism. And it's most associated with having attachments, and especially to the constructs that have been normalized in our life. And so I really see this as being a winter where you're really challenging certain attachments you might have, and especially as the description in the book pointed out, of like, what is it you think you need to find joy and happiness? It's not true. It's all within you. And where does that attachment come from? Why do you have that? And how would it feel to be freed from that? So like really going into those questions this winter of like, why am I so attached to this thing being the thing that would give me happiness or fulfillment? Why is that here? So like really questioning some of the things that have been very normalized in you, which will totally like lead you into this more liberated state and empowered state of being like, I actually don't need that. That's a weird attachment. I can find happiness within me, just as I am, you know? Okay, let's do a couple oracle cards to expand on this. So these are going to be the Celtic Spirit Oracle cards, to kind of continue with this Celtic theme. Gwyneth, the mother, nurture, present. And I love this. This is like, to me, the exact energy that Spirit's wanting you to tap into is that Cancerian energy of the mother, of soul, of depth, of intuition, of self-care. Knowing that fulfillment starts from within, by being present to yourself, by nurturing yourself, by taking care of yourself, by building strong foundations in your private life that hold you and nourish you, and just being good to yourself just for the sake of being good to yourself, and not needing to be seen anyway, needing life to feel a certain way versus being seen a certain way. So I love that coming through. I think that's so spot on, of like a directive of how to not just question what you are attached to, but giving you some directive of like where you should be focusing and developing. Okay, let's pull a Priestess of Light to see what kind of spiritual guidance is around you during this time. Yeah, I love this circle of eternal joy, timelessness, dance of life. And I love this because it leans in again to like the feminine quality, Cancerian quality of timelessness and eternity versus history and linear time. And that if you go into these more yin energies of finding fulfillment and joy through how things feel, coming from soul, it's something that doesn't have a strong association with time and construct. It's an eternal thing. It's there's a timelessness about it. And so this is, saying that you have some help around you to help guide you towards experiencing what an approach to life would be like if you were to feel it versus have deep attachments to how things are seen. So really, really beautiful messages, really healing messages. These are some of the most important and potent learning curves I've worked with in my own development. And, it's still at times a struggle, but this is something I've worked really hard on in my own life, and have found to be hugely, hugely rewarding and fulfilling to kind of ground more and more into. Okay, we're going to do some tarot cards to get any more context that wants to come out about this. Yeah, 5 of Stones, exactly. 3 of Vessels. This is so beyond right on. It's, I know exactly what these cards are saying. 6 of Arrows. Wow, okay. Knight of Bows. Woo. The Pole Star. And Six of Bows. Okay. So, sorry, let me just fix these a little. Okay. So right off the bat, we have 5 of Stones and then 3 of Vessels. And these are very much so, to me, expanding on what we've already talked about. 5 of Stones or 5 of Pentacles in traditional tarot tends to be a card that shows up when we are undergoing a change in values. And what tends to happen in that process is a lot of our material world sort of, I don't want to say falls away, but there's like some restrictions that happen and some scarcity mindset that sets in. Whether or not there actually is scarcity in your life, it's like a sense of that is around you. And it's because this change of values is needing you to go inside of yourself to really truly understand what these evolving values are, rather than relying on the outer world to show you what your values are. And so if we do have a little bit of scarcity, we drive into ourselves to understand what our resources are. And so this is like a clue to me that you are undergoing some change in values. And it's saying that as you do this, as we go into the 3 of Vessels next, as you do this, if you can really authentically plug into your internal self and a place of soul, what your soul wants, what your intuition has to offer you, and your depths, you will find that alignment you need, as well as like a new sense of community, like soul tribe type energy, and support systems that want to be there and that can help you develop these new kinds of values coming through that are a little bit more soul based, how things feel, versus worldly based, how they appear. And as you do this, the more work you do on this, the faster as well as more profound kind of energy will take place around being able to leave some rocky shores that you're currently on for calmer shores, for new hope, new potential, going where you feel a deeper alignment and belonging, and where there's much more potential for you and open doors for you. And I think as you lean further and further into this through this winter quarter, you start to find new eagerness, new creativity, new desires kind of rising up, and kind of a cunning quality coming forward of really having targets, having goals, having a sense of what soul and family are to you, and having your eye on the prize with that context in mind. And so going towards very different things than you typically have. And the more you can align with that more soul intuitive place versus being fixated on how things appear and certain outer world attachments to how things should be to have happiness and fulfillment, the more you can connect to that coming from an inner place, the more you will find new hope, new faith, new belief, and victory as well. I love that this reading ends on the Six of Bows, which a lot of time in many tarot's decks, it has the victory association, but in this it says abundance. And I think it's like as you connect further and further into how things feel to you and what your soul wants and is calling you to, the more these new values develop in just like a much more deep, enriched alignment with yourself and lead you to where and how you create your most fulfilling, abundant life. So really beautiful ending here, but I do think there's a spectrum. It's going to depend the amount of abundance you end up getting to, and I do feel like that's a feeling of abundance, not literal abundance, but what's really the difference? Fulfillment is fulfillment, you know. The bounty you end up producing before stepping into spring, or just as you step into spring, is going to be equal to the amount of work you do on this. And I really, you know, I've done a lot of work here, and it has really improved my overall sense of fulfillment in life. So I would encourage the work here. It's worth it, even if it's difficult. So yeah, anyway, happy winter, happy journeying into this kind of development that's really getting you in touch with soul and detaching you from attachments that are preventing you from really feeling happiness. Yeah, so this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate a thumbs up. It's the easiest way to support me. Little comments are great as well, and definitely subscriptions. And I hope to see you guys in more readings. All right.